Hey everybody, this is Everett back with you from Hood Time Welding. Today we're going to be making up some window grates. So this is number 7 out of 11 I've had to do. So that's why I haven't taped them all. This is a window well grate that, like I said, I've got 11 of them to make. They've been different sizes to a point. I've had, I don't know, 72 by 50 some. These ones are, what are they, 40 and a half by 40 and a half by 31 and a half, so they're pretty good size. It's a nice little tool that I got online at Amazon. I'll include a link at the end of the video with that, or down below with the comments. It does a really nice job of getting stuff lined up. I mean, if you look, I gotta tighten it up a little bit, I guess. There we go. Put 2 tacks on this one. So it might have just come a little bit loose. It's been sitting on my bench for a little bit. So the difference between these ones and the other grates I did, the other grates I had to put, or I used rebar all the way around. Well, these window wells are, the recess for where they sit is, what is it? It's 1.5 inches down in. So by using flat stock on the side of these ones, I can make it so they sit flush with the top of the stonework. So this really helps. As you can see, with that holding on, I can just give her a couple little taps and get stuff right where I want it, and it still makes it somewhat, or makes it pretty well square. I mean, but it's like having a second hand. I've used magnets before and they work okay. This just works a little bit better just because of the way it's set up. It's a nice little tool to have. See, only a slight little adjustment here, and we're already there. So, yeah, anyways, these sit down, the stonework they sit on down in the window wells is 1.5 inches deep. So by using the flat stock like this, I'm able to get the bars so they're right level with the ground, which is what the customer wants. Pretty easy to do. Just a little different design than the other grating I've made. Now, just because of their length, these ones are a little more touchy on. So there we go for that. Let's make sure we got our total length overall. Like I said, this makes it sort of nice so you can just get what you need, not have to hold on to anything. Keeps the alignment for you. You can tap them around a little bit and get them tacked into place. So on this one, we got to make sure we got, well, let's put our second tack on the outside on this one. There's that one. So let's start with our overall width, which we're right there, lengthwise. We can give her just a little tap. We're just a teeny bit long. But yeah, the bottom edges here are made out of aluminum. So when you get a little spatter on there, it pops right off. And they have a nice little slot on this side where you can actually put your tack. So now to finish getting these squared up, what I'm gonna do is do a cross measurement. If you haven't done much fitting before, you really don't know about this. But what you do is you measure from corner to corner. So that's at 51. And this is 50 7/8, so we're a 16th off. So we want that corner just a little bit longer. Let's see. It's not really moving much, but I mean, if we're 16th off from being square, I can't really. Oh, now we're down to a 32nd. So if we start welding on this side, it'll pull it just a little bit. It'll pull it this way, which will lengthen that side. So we'll weld this side first. Now I'm gonna go through, throw the helmet on, weld the four corners from the outside to keep it stiff while we go ahead and put all the rebar in. Now I know this is just a little weave down the outside. You've got so much cross welding, and I'm going to be welding this from the inside also. And you can get it to lay in there pretty nice. You just take your time and work that weave right in there. So all four sides done. Take the helmet back off. Now, for the next part, let's see if that pulled it the way we wanted. It's gonna be a little warm, but that's 7/8. Fifteen sixteenths. I'm not going to complain about that. Now what we're going to do is just flip it over. Oh, we got one corner just to knock off that bead on top. And we'll flip it. Because you'll see in just a minute. So we went through, knocked all our corners down. Now what I'm going to do is just throw a clamp on here to make sure this is flush to the table, because that's what we need for our spacing. For our spacing for each piece, what I did is I have some 1/8 inch flat stock that goes on the edges. And to get the piece the space between each bar, we have these 1-inch pieces of pipe. So I just set everything in there like that. Set my bar in there. And by having an 1/8-inch spacers underneath, what that does is when I weld it all the way around, you don't have any welds sticking up. So it makes it look nice. It's a nice little recess. It's hardly noticeable. What was I just going to grab? Well, I was going to grab this. And we got to mark the center, because what I do is I'll do half. Put the bars in from one side halfway. So we got 40.5. And so half of that is 20.25. Yep, 20.25. Same thing on this side. So anyways, what I was saying about the center here is I'll put all the bars in right up to that line from this side. And then when I flip it around, I'll start from the outside and work the way in. What it is when you get to the center like that, if you're not quite perfect on your spacing, it's a good place to make up for that. You can make it so you can make it evenly spaced, and it's a lot less noticeable when it's right from the center. Or at least that's what I found and I like. Where's my hammer? So, make sure they're all the way down, make sure my spacers are in there. So come in just a little bit more. Down, down, spacers good. And then we'll do a tap. And like I said, this will all repeat. I think on this one there's 20 some bars. So we'll go ahead and speed that up until we get to the next part. So, as you can see, we got everything done. The last little bit, we made it look pretty even. Again, this is a well grate for the windows in a cellarway. You know, you've got the cellarway window. On the outside, it has a square well that drops down in so you can open the window all up, but you want to protect that top. So that's what these are to replace. If they're a 16th or 32nd here or there, they're not going to make a huge difference. The biggest thing is just to make them look nice. So the last part I got to fit is right here on the ends. We're going to do a cross member all the way across. It ties everything together real nice in the center. Really strengthens up the middle. I split everything up so you can see everything's 10.5 inches. You know, from the outside to this one, to this one, to the outside. Again, it's a little bit more about aesthetics than really anything. I just try to make everything look nice and even. And after we get done with that, it's just welding everything up. And you might not think there's not much to weld, but like I said before, I've got 20 bars, which we were one short on, which this is the 4th one of this size, and we'd cut a lot of pieces, so being one short, I'm not going to really complain. You know, maybe I counted wrong, maybe Mrs. Hood Time counted wrong, it doesn't really matter. It's one bar. So I just cut it real quick. So center that one up. Center this side up so it's right in the middle of the line. And we'll go down through and put a bunch of tacks on random bars. And last tack on this one. So, I mean, these are a pretty simple design, you know, which it gets the job done. It looks decent. And it's pretty easy to make. Material-wise, with using the rebar, definitely cuts down on the cost. There's a slight bowing, but nothing really too noticeable on these smaller ones. My longer ones, I had to do a little rebending on them just because you don't realize it, but you're welding pretty much on one side of the rebar. So it tends to pull a little bit as you're welding. So there we go. That's how it's all fit together. Like I said, it's a pretty easy fit. I think they look pretty nice. Now, what we'll do after we get this one off is I will stand her up, clamp her down to the table, and get the welding. Like I said, you can see, well, I guess if I get you the right angle, you can see these are set back that just a little bit. So when you come around, the weld sits in here nice. I will hit it with the grinder, so make sure nothing sticks up. They all look pretty evenly spaced, at least as far as I can tell. And there we go. I'll show you the finished project after I get done welding, so let's get welding on this.
I can feel the bass, I can feel the heat. Sing along, I can shout and scream. I can feel it taking over me. Ooh la la la, ooh la la la, hey hey. Ooh la la la, ooh la la la, hey hey. Ooh la la la, ooh la la la, hey hey, hey hey. I hear it calling for me.
So here's the finished project after I clean it all up. I probably fast forwarded through the cleaning but you can see how this sits down real nice. It's hard to tell that those are even really recessed. And as I told you, there was actually a lot of welding involved to get this all together. I always probably overweld a little bit more than some other people, but I always want to make sure my stuff's going to hold well. So, I hope you like my content. If you do, go ahead and comment or subscribe, follow, comment. I try to answer all my comments in a timely manner. Two other products I used during this video. One was a gun dip. As you can see, it's a Chinese one. It just says Welding Anti-Clogging Agent. It actually works pretty good. I got it because it's a little bit cheaper. Sorry, getting switched around here. And the one other thing that allowed me to just weld and I'm so thankful for is my Jackson helmet. I haven't done a review on it long enough because I haven't done a review because I haven't quite had it long enough. So I want to see how she holds up before I actually do a good review. But it seems to be working really nice. As you can see, I could just go from weld to weld to weld, which on projects like this, which like I told you, this is number 7 out of 11, it really saves a lot of time and a lot of neck ache. But again, I hope you like my content. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook. I'll include a link. And have a good day. Thanks.